about this.
Love it.
We are live with Alicia from High Level, and this is extraordinary for me. I've talked to few people from High Level, to namely a few, Sean Clark, Varun, Alex. All three have been on my show, but this one is extra special for me and for RepStack because of what Alicia does at High Level. Alicia
Pagano.
Pagona
Pagano.
Pagano is the director of certifications at High Level. So if you haven't heard, in terms of trainings, that's one of the best things High Level's done. What an amazing program! Currently, we have about 15 to 20 people enrolled in their program because we love it so much. And Alicia is single-handedly running this program. It's an amazing program. Last I heard, these guys had 500 people enrolled to get official high-level certified admin certifications.
Right.
That number may have changed because I talked to Alicia about a month ago. But Alicia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. It was so great seeing you again at the Mastermind a couple of weeks ago. Met you before at our High Level Summit. So it's just always great to connect with our users, and you and your team just have such a great environment and community. It's so great to be part of it and welcomed into it.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And I was fortunate enough to meet you and get this podcast book. And there's a number of reasons for that. Number one is obviously because we're really into the team building business, and like I mentioned, about 90% of our clients are marketing agencies and SaaS businesses working with High Level on a day-to-day basis. They're looking to hire high-level people, and they can't find them fast enough.
Right.
And so the program that you started connects with us like really, really, really well, because we're looking for those next level training. We already invest in the Extendly trainings for our people, but we were looking for something that's more official, more coming right directly from the source. And this program was the thing we were waiting for. So so that's kind of the gist of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the official High Level certification tracks. When Alicia heads the program at High Level, she's actually single-handedly built this program out for us that you guys are seeing. So she's the brains behind the operation as well. But before we go into that, Alicia, do you want to just quickly give us a brief about who you are, how did you end up at High Level, and then finally, how did you get started with the certification track at High Level?
Yeah, so it's kind of all one and the same. And so I actually celebrated my 4-year anniversary with High Level, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
Company isn't even 6 years old yet, so being in at the ground level is just incredible.
Love it.
So my journey in starting at High Level is kind of what paved the way for the certification program. So I know you heard this story at the Mastermind, but for those that haven't heard the story, when I first started with High Level, I was one of the only account managers, and I was working alongside Paulson, who was doing our biz dev and our sales. And as the account manager, we were kind of running and gunning and doing everything. And in 2020, when COVID hit, everybody became a marketer. Everybody was trying to figure out what to do. So here I am, new to High Level myself, new to the platform itself. And the questions that I was fielding on a regular basis are, left, right, up, down, everywhere but center. And it was just like, we are serving an ecosystem of users that didn't even know how to use High Level, that didn't even know what High Level was meant for, or what it could do. They knew what they wanted it to do, and they knew what other systems can do, but they couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. So right from the jump, I was like, whoa, there's no baseline for our users to even know if they know enough, right? So figuring out how our users can know if they're using it the right way was the first thing we wanted. Then it was the second layer of it was, how do we know when users are doing it for use cases versus edge cases, right? And as you guys know, our users push the system every day to its limits. And this is one of those things that kind of creates a delay, especially within our support system, because they don't know what you're trying to accomplish. They just have a frazzled user trying to explain what's not working. as
Hmm.
opposed to us being able to step back and say, well, that's great, but that's not its intended use.
Hmm.
Um, so this all came from my days in account management, just being like, so many users don't even know how to use this. How do we make sure that we set them up for success? And that was especially important for us because, as you know, we've got all these really great workshops that we do, the 5-day challenges, the 3-day workshops, any of those YouTube challenges or the playbooks that we have online. They're designed to get any business up and running very quickly
Hmm.
and have them making revenue. And until this program came along for certifications, everybody had a different starting point. Everybody had a different skill set. Everybody was using the platform very differently. So last February, Robin entrusted me in saying, Alicia, the training and knowledge program that you're running is great, but we need to kick it up a notch. You've been
Hmm.
asking for this, do it. And then I was terrified.
Hmm.
So it's myself and Michael. If anybody has taken the live proctor or been in our certified community, Michael is my right hand man. We've now added in Jason, an additional team member as well. So we've grown from
Nice.
myself and Michael to now myself, Michael, and Jason. And now we're opening up the roles even more to expand for our users. So as you said, we've got well over 500 users now in the course. We have 135 users that are certified at this point. And for those that don't know, what makes our certification so much different than anything else is there's a live proctor component. You have to show us you know what you're doing. Um,
Hmm.
it's a true verification and vetting process. And that is
Yeah.
what makes this program stand out exponentially compared to everything else out there. And I'm so proud of that.
How long did it take you to build this out, Alicia?
Uh, well, we started, I've had this outline for quite a while. But of course, my original outline from 3 years ago is not what this turned into. So we started building out the program, truly outlining it in February of last year, and we went live with it on October 24th at our Level Up Day at our summit. So we went from soups to nuts in only a couple of months.
Wow, wow. It does not look like it's only been a couple of months, but I guess all the experience that you guys bring to the table and then having the infrastructure, how you're going to build it out, all of that, and you've tried it, you've had programs in place before this, so it was just the natural evolution.
Yeah.
But turning it into this certification, I think we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of how the program works and things like that. So that's a great introduction. I would love to get into my next segment. And this segment, Alicia, you're going to love. It's
Mhm.
called Three More Questions. And we've handcrafted these questions so that people can really understand what the high level certified admin track really is.
Yeah.
And, I think all of your questions can be answered because Alicia is super helpful. But this is going to just turn into something, if you want to invest in this program, why you should do it. I got the questions here because I had the same questions. So, without any further ado, my number one question, Alicia, is why should a marketing agency or a SaaS business hire a GHL certified admin for the automation role?
I think that it goes to show that what you think you know is never enough. And if you're content with that, then you're stuck. You're not continuing your growth at that point. There's a quote that I love that says, "Great coaches have great coaches." Michael Phelps,
Yeah.
decorated Olympic swimmer, doesn't do it himself.
Hmm.
So I think that knowing that you're partnered up with somebody that has the inside knowledge, like somebody that's certified at HighLevel, we give them additional benefits. They've got direct access to us. There's a lot of things that they can access, and a lot of knowledge that they have insights to. And if they don't, well, then they know who they can come and ask for a much quicker response. So
Hmm.
it's that direct access. And when people say, why should they hire somebody that's certified, you've heard me say this many times. If anyone's ever been in any of the sessions I've hosted, it's, if you think that hiring a professional is expensive, try hiring an amateur first. And
Yeah.
it's one thing to be on a demo call and have something go wrong, and you can troubleshoot it on the call and show what your expertise is. But wouldn't it be great if your demo calls could be really good and really flawless and just really streamlined all the way through? That's
Hmm.
what these certified admins are doing for us. We're testing their knowledge in on this. We're
Hmm.
showing that they know the shortcuts, they know the optimized path to success. But What they bring to it is their own character and showing their own business persona, what their business does.
Hmm.
And I think that that's the biggest thing, is that you never go into business with somebody truly for just the business. You have to have that connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And if you think you're the smartest person in the room, we've got a problem. And you better have somebody on your team to put that ego into check, just to say, hey, we could be working a little bit smarter, a little bit faster, a little bit harder. But let's
Yeah.
go smarter and not harder, just for the sake of working hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think that's, there's no other word should exist where you're not hiring certified admins. I think we, as a company of 250 plus people and growing, have committed for every single CRM expert to be certified by the high level official tracks. Because, like, first of all, because we have people in the track right now, and we've officially certified one person through the program. I can tell you that, just anyone is not going to be able to do it. It's a very hard track. It's not easy, right? So we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of that. But if you're thinking that just, yeah, anyone can come through this, these people usually have 1, 2, 3 years of experience, and even then, it's taking them 2 times, 3 times to get through the final test that these guys have. So we're going to get into the next question, I think, because I don't want to give away too much. Because I want to ask you, Alicia, my next question is, can you kind of walk us through how the admin level certification um, adds more value to one's career? Like, what's their what's the advantage for, like, if I'm a person, like we just talked about, the business owner, right, the SaaS owner or the marketing agency, they should be hiring these people. But what about for me as a person who wants to build out a career inside a marketing agency? Why is it important for me?
I think that, so again, HighLevel is a platform that does so many different things and so many different marketing features, that if you are in a digital marketing space, there is a use case for your business for sure. But I think at this point, what it does for your own career, it's one of those things. It helps you figure out where you need to have your power players. How are you formulating your agency? How are you stacking up your agency so that you
Hmm.
fill those gaps where
Hmm.
there's the need? We
Hmm.
know that our platform is so underutilized, that there's so much opportunity. And real quick, a shout out for you guys at RepStack is, you are one of the few agencies I've encountered that actually wants all of their agents listed in our directory. One of our biggest pain points is that users and agency owners are saying, I don't want my people to get other opportunities, or I don't want them to be poached by somebody else.
Yeah.
That point, I'm keen to say, well, that's an environment problem, I think, because
Yeah.
no door should ever be shut on opportunity for education and growth. And if you can say you've trained up that person, why wouldn't you want your name on that? Now, it's okay if
Hmm.
they leave you. I mean, that's the goal of business, right? Is to enhance skill sets, not to keep people there forever, to
Hmm.
elevate your people. And
Yeah.
and foster that community. And great job for RepStack is doing such a great job getting their team members through and seeing the value in what they can do for RepStack, and really figure out where their skill set lies so that they bring that value to your team.
Yeah, and I think that's just it. You hit the nail on the head that, you're gonna get more recognition. It's a get. And then in terms of specializing in a CRM tool like high level,
Mhm.
I feel that automation, like inside, if you're building out a career in a marketing field and you don't know automations in this day and age, then I don't think so, right? Like, even if you're a media buyer, even if you're an SEO person, I don't care what role you have to have expertise in terms of your sorry, my camera is messing up a little bit. You have to have expertise uh, on the automations, right? There's nothing without automations right now. Marketing has changed completely. And if you can't add value to your organization using these shortcuts that we have, then, it's going to become really, really hard for you.
Well, I think
So,
the other thing too is that it helps the agency owners keep a pulse on what's happening in the landscape of digital marketing, what's happening in the landscape of their business, what's happening with the landscape of their own team members. It'll show you kind of where their strengths are as well. But again, this admin badge, this is the overarching badge. You need to earn this badge before you can earn anything else. This is going to show us that you're not going to break the system. And I think at
Hmm.
its core value, having just the admin badge itself is the value to show that when you go to support, it's the equivalent of calling up the internet company and saying, my router is not working. You've already
Yeah.
turned it off. You've already unplugged it. You've already done all of those basics. We're giving
Yeah.
you the basics plus. Your setup is going to
Yeah.
be
Oh,
enhanced.
this is way advanced.
Yeah,
This is
you're
really
gonna know what
advanced.
to look at to say this isn't working properly. So before you go to our support team, you will have already troubleshooted the basic components of it, and you're saving
Hmm.
yourself time, you're saving your team time, you're saving the end user time. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that end user is what's going to make everybody happy. So why not? Why not just have
Yeah.
that in place?
Yeah, I think, and you become a part of, like, especially with the high level thing. Alicia just said that there's only like 135 certified people in the world officially by GHL. Imagine like giving yourself a boost, right? Like, and these guys do a great job in recognizing the people who are getting certified. It's a phenomenal program. It's not like programs run by Google and Meta and things like that. It's good to have those things as well, but this is very different. I've never seen anything like that, and we're in the training and coaching field, right? Like, we go through these courses on a daily basis. So like, if you don't have that certification and you're inside the marketing and field and you're building out a career and you're not an automation person, I think you got maybe rethink the career opportunities, because this is a must have. And then you get to stand out, right? Only 135 people worldwide, so that's great. I love that. My last question to you, Alicia, is we kind of want to get into the nuts and bolts of the certification now. How long does it take to become a certified admin, and what are the key steps that you guys have in place?
So right now, the biggest component is that live proctor that I talked about. And I think our wait list is we're all the way through July at the moment. So here we are, June 4th. We're booked all the way through July. So we're talking about a 6-week wait. Now,
Hmm.
that sounds like it's a nightmare, but at the same time, it helps us show who actually knows it by muscle memory versus who actually knows it by skill. Um,
Hmm.
and at that point in time, if people are saying, I can't get in for 6 weeks, then that means you better be passing that first time, right? Because you're not
Yeah.
going to wait 6 weeks to retake that. So
Yeah.
practice, practice, practice. And that's really what this is that practice and repetition of setup and knowing where to click, that confidence. It's the
Hmm.
verification of skills, right? You think you know it, and then all of a sudden somebody says, well, why would you do it that way if you can do it in 3 steps this way? So
Hmm.
um, the lessons that we have over 120 lessons in our library. It sounds like a lot. It is a lot. Our platform's a lot. But when people ask, hey, what's the syllabus of this? If you're a high level user, open up your agency dashboard, look on the
Hmm.
left hand menu, and every one of those buttons is covered in some form or capacity.
Nice. Nice.
It is just a surface level, really. So we have micro lessons on everything,
Yeah.
anywhere from 2 minutes long to 12 minutes long by design. We want to keep it short and sweet, and we want you guys to figure out how those pieces work. Um,
Hmm.
so I would say if you are familiar with HighLevel and you've been using the platform for a while, you would probably be able to get through most of the content. And each content has a quick quiz, 3 to 5 questions, just to summarize to make sure you're paying attention. You're on track. So you'll know if it's a section you've got to revisit or a weakness or opportunity to improve something. Um,
Hmm.
but if you've been using it for a while, I'd say there's no reason you can't get through it in 3 days. Um, More realistically, a week to 10 days will be if you're a moderate pace, but if you're an extreme novice, it takes as long as it takes. I don't want to say take 2 weeks and you'll become proficient. Some people
Yeah.
have a bigger learning curve, but again, those little micro quizzes at the end will really show you if you need to go back and focus in on those lessons or if you need to do something else. We always link the help articles or any videos that are helpful to that topic as well, so you don't have to spend hours searching. And then also you're in the community with anybody that's subscribed, and there's great conversations happening in there with saying, can somebody explain this? Can somebody do that? And just because you're certified doesn't mean that you don't still have questions. We've got our certified community asking questions to each other all the time.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really, the landing page says it's a network of high level users helping high level users. And that's exactly it. It's just fostering and continuously changing the industry standard and shifting it to grow. Um,
So
so you
once you're, sorry to cut you off there, Alicia. Once you're done with the lessons, there's quizzes throughout the lessons, like you said, and there's a test as well that you have to take, right?
So
And
there's
you
two-part final exam. The first part is part A. It's multiple choice. It's 100 questions, and they're questions that you've seen throughout. So if you were paying
mm,
attention in some of those other
mm,
videos, it'll make sense to you. That's why it's
mm,
core component to pay attention. But you have to get an 85% or better to unlock the live proctor calendar. Um,
mm.
and then from there, it's just the waiting game for the exam. And at that point, like I said, it's practice, practice, practice. It's full on onboarding and setup, and you have a 1 hour time window to do that.
Yeah. And you have to share your screen, and you have to kind of walk the examiner through.
And you have to show
That's
us your
Michael, I think.
right. You have to show us an idea to even start off. So we have to know that you are who you say that you are. So we're not certifying your uncle who's taking it for your brother, right? We
Yeah,
know that
and you
you
guys
are
have a whole bunch of scenarios as well, right? So it's not the same scenario that is every it's going to be a cookie cutter thing. You're going to
there.
be different people are going to be asked different things, and it's very agile, very moving, and if you don't know high level, you're not going to get through it. It's that simple.
And that's why that time component is so critical too, because
Hmm.
one thing, if you could find the help article and if you can muscle through it, this isn't designed for somebody to muscle through it. I think the fastest time on it is like 28 minutes that somebody has gotten through it.
Really, that's
It's like
awesome.
it was multiple tabs duplicating windows, and it's incredible to watch
Nice.
doctors. um
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like the goal isn't to go fast, it's to go confidently and proficiently.
Hmm.
And I think it's different when you say you know it. And Stephanie Blair from Extendedly, she's coined my phrase of put your money where your mouse is, because anybody can say that they know it, but when you're on that live proctor, I just had somebody the other day or a week ago or so saying he's performed at, Madison Square Garden, he's performed all of these concert venues, but this exam was more terrifying than any big performance he's ever done. And like, I get it. It's, if you've ever screen shared on a live Zoom call, all of a sudden you can't remember where to
Mm.
click. It's that times 10
And that's
with
the purpose.
down
That's the
100%.
purpose. That's what really excites me about this thing, man. Like, I'm really excited about being a part of this program and all our people being part of this program, because it's something phenomenal, and it really, really is creating value, right? You can see that. Like, you're not going to be able to get through the exam if you properly do not know high level, like you said. How on an average, how many attempts is this taking? Are people mostly clearing in the first proctor exam,
We
or is
have
it?
Yeah, we have a pretty good success rate, and I will say when people fail, I don't even like to say fail. When people don't pass the first time around, it's if it's by a lot, they know it's by a lot, and they know it a few minutes into the exam. And then it's really
Mm,
just them trying to figure out what they need to practice, which I can say is a great testament to our users and their behaviors, their awareness of their own skill set. But
mm,
at the same time, you don't want to have to take it again, because that's an hour out of your time, and that's a lot, right? The mental preparedness of it, the actual time away from it. Um,
mm,
so I want to say there is a good success rate, but there are a fair few number of people that are getting through on the second attempt. There's been a handful of people that have not gotten through after, 3, 4 attempts. We at that point want to know what we can do to help you, whether it's a
mm,
critical thinking problem, whether it is just an assessment, you're not testing well, there's
mm,
something, right? And I come from a teaching background as well, so part of me is the reflective of, is it something that we're not teaching right? And
mm,
I can safely say a lot of the times it's people getting in their own heads, where they're then focused on the mistakes they've made in the previous test, that then they
mm,
forget something else later on. And,
mm,
that to me just says that they're testing for the test. They're not doing this in the real world scenario. And maybe that they just need to have a couple more clients under their belt, a couple more use cases to figure out, just to be a little bit more confident. But it really comes down to a confident issue rather
yeah.
than a proficiency issue, is what I can say.
And then I think, like, from what I've gathered, I'm gonna help decode this a little bit for those of you who are gonna be signing up. What I've gathered is that you have to do it 100% in this 1 hour live exam. because like we had a person who was recently going through it, went through the second attempt, and like even you're like 99% done building the scenario out, like you've been told, you're not going to get through if you miss just like a tiny bit of thing, right? It's not, they're not,
Yes,
that's
and
what our experience has been so far. Like
it's
if it,
SATs meets driver's ed. So in the
hmm,
SATs, there's a pass fail in some scenarios or a certain score that you have to get. It's kind of that where you have to, this is where the driving component comes into it. Like for driver's ed, if you don't use your turn signal, it's a miss. Um,
hmm,
if you don't stop before the line, it's a miss. You can have enough small misses and still pass.
hmm,
But
hmm.
if you do all of those things right, but you hit the cone on your parallel park, that's an automatic
You're done.
fail. There are certain components of the exam that is an automatic fail. So,
I
for
love
example,
it.
without saying too much, HighLevel was built on capture, nurture, and close. And if any
Hmm,
one of those steps are broken throughout the journey, that will be a non passing score for you. Um,
hmm,
so, you know, does the user get the email? Does the lead get the email? What's the difference
hmm,
between the lead and the user? All
hmm.
of these things, it's making sure that those things are firing off properly. If the lead
Hmm.
comes through and the business owner doesn't get notified, it's a missed opportunity. There's no sense in that lead even being there. So I will put that to bed in saying that that's not quite true, but there are some big factors that cannot be missed, and you can miss
Yeah,
enough of the smaller fragments. We'll point them out to you as we're going through and grading it, because you do know right then and there at the end of that 1 hour if you've gotten through it or not.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think that, ladies and gentlemen, is called what we call a hard sell. We're letting you guys know what's at stake here. But I don't think it's you don't need to worry about it, especially if you're passionate about marketing. This is going to be a really great tool to have on your side,
it should
because
encourage. It shouldn't defeat anybody by any means.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then also, correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, this is going to be an ongoing certificate, right? Like that you're going to have to renew once a year.
You will have to renew once a year, and everybody always asks, "Well, what does that look like?" Well, we're not at the year mark yet. So, that being said, anybody that took the exam in November, December, the exam looks different now. So, the evolution of HighLevel changing is the evolution of the exam changing. And
Love it.
it's going to focus in on those core features that you already know, but maybe an optimization of it, maybe an enhancement of it or a new way to use it, something of those skills. The core value of this is not going to change, where that admin badge is the all overarching badge that needs to be earned. We call it like it's your college prep exam, right? You can take the
Yeah,
math classes, but we need to see where you can get placed. This is your
yeah,
placement exam. We know
yeah,
if you can do this, you can do any of the other skills that we teach you, but we need to know that you're not going to break the system and make more havoc and chaos along the way. That's really what we're
mm,
certifying, and it's that verification of skills. And who
yeah.
doesn't want to be verified for something, you know?
Yeah, and stay there. Like if this is your bread and butter, if marketing's your bread and butter, then you got, and like I said, I think like sometimes maybe it's a little overcomplicate. We overcomplicate the automation world, but if you can show to the rest of the world that you can do this, because automation is what brings all the marketing together, right? And most of the times, most people don't even know what that stuff is, right? So if you can come in and help out an organization this size, usually the lowest hanging fruit.
Yep.
What better way of doing it than with having an active high level certification for like let's see how long that goes, but maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe for as long as you're in the career, right? We don't know yet. We're building this out. Alicia's building this out as high level grows, and I think this is a great first step towards that goal. Okay, Alicia. So now we're going to move into our rapid fire segment. It's called Three More Ideas, and I'm going to throw a few terminologies at you, and I want you to just give me your first thought that come to you.
Okay.
So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So number one is training.
Never ending. I think training is essential in life. It is what motivates you. It is what keeps you on track. Without training, what are you doing? You have to have a goal, right? Every day there's
Mm,
a daily goal, a weekly goal. You're not just living to live. There's something that you're trying to accomplish.
Hmm.
So whether you're training for a professional program, whether you're training for a hobby, a skill, I think training is mandatory, and I think that continuing education is so needed in everything in order to be happy, successful, and not just be content.
Love it. Right people for the right job.
Networking and branding, getting yourself out there. Anybody can say that they do it. I don't know about you. If you go to a furniture store, if you go to a car lot, I hate the salesman. I'm going to go with the least salesy salesman that I can find. Um, so for me, I think that it's an opportunity to network, opportunity to brand yourself. The more skills you have under your belt, you have to show the person, not the skill.
Hmm.
So right people in the right place is finding that person to connect with, not just the right person that has the skill set that you need. You want to have an
Love
ongoing
it.
relationship.
Love it. And I think that's what, like you mentioned this start of the show that, I think that's what really the certified admin program brings out in a person, that their individuality, right? We know we're testing them on a skill set, but also brings shines the spotlight on the individual. I love it. Last term for you is GHL certified admin.
Only getting started.
I love
Um,
it. I think that's enough said. That's a mic drop right there,
I
Alicia.
mean,
It's
get in
it's
if
an
you
amazing
go
program.
high level, the best advantage is to get in at the ground level. It is only going to benefit you more. The longer you wait, the less you're going to get. Honestly,
Yeah,
get in at
yeah,
the ground level. Speak your mind. We're adding benefits in to make sure that our certified users have more voting power in our ideas board, making sure that they get the recognition. And look, one of the best things is that Sean, Robin, and Varun are constantly asked, I need help with this. Who do I go to? Go to directory.gohighlevel.com. That is the canned response, because now they don't need to know who's good this week, that week, the other week. There's
yeah.
consistency, right? There
And
that's
and I
what
asked this
you're telling people.
and I asked this question to Sean Varun. You might be in the room at that time, Alicia. This past month. And I asked them because we in the recruitment field, like we get agency owners and SaaS businesses coming to us, and they're like, we need a GHL expert, right? GHL is a 6-year-old software, and experts are really hard to find. Like if you need someone who's going to be just in and out, and this is the next best thing that we can think of. That you bring in a person who has some experience, we put him through this course, we make sure that they go through you guys' certificate. And that's what each and every one of these guys said. Varun, Sean, and Robin, they said that like, if you want to hire, this is the only way to train someone, to put him hire them. They may have experience, that's great, but put them through the certification track, make sure that they qualify, make sure they certify, because you guys are constantly adding stuff to it. And this is coming right from the source, that like, if you want an expert, make sure they're enrolled in your certified track. And if you are brave enough, and everybody should be, to have that sort of a culture where let your employees shine, and instead of worrying about that they're going to be poached, think about the positive press you're going to be getting from your employees being certified. Hey, I have two automation experts, both of them are certified by high level. That's a plus for me as an agency, right? Like, I can bring that to my sales things now, that this is the type of person I bring to the table, not hold people back. So I think that's not the point here.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys have a totally great attitude and approach to this, and just saying like you want that recognition, because maybe they're not going to get along with one person that you have at your agency, but if you say, "Hey, this is who I have," we can find somebody that you're going to jive with here. That shows the flexibility, the willingness, the dedication you have to your users. And
Hmm.
why wouldn't you want that exposure for yourself? Why wouldn't you want that? So,
Yeah.
you know, for everybody that says, I just want to know, I just want to get the information and be out. Unless
Hmm.
you know that information is good and you're applying it properly, you're
Hmm.
quitting on yourself too soon, and you're
Hmm.
overly confident without proof of concept.
Yeah.
So There's plenty of agency people that have signed up and have dropped off after 2 or 3 months of the program without being tested. They've maybe gone through, they've gotten the 85%, and then they don't do the live proctor. It's like, why did you go that far to only go that far and not actually
Yeah.
validate what you know is true, or not see how you can improve upon that?
Yeah, and then
I
just
don't get
building
it.
their reputation, right? Like imagine having your employees having a certified badge. Like you can put that on your website and you can talk about that stuff instead of yeah, just having the yeah, let's not get into that, but I think for the people who are
I'm very
investing in it,
passionate about helping people in the right places. And I think that, if the agency owner is coming to me saying, I don't want my people to be poached, that's not an agency I really would want to work at if they don't have that transparency and open honesty with their.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going where there's a relationship built and there's trust. That signifies to me that there's not trust. And I don't like that.
yeah,
Not a
yeah,
fan.
yeah. Yeah, I think this is amazing. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
We can just go. Where do we find out about the official certification track?
Right. So it's just gohighlevel.com/certifications with an S. And then if you are looking to hire anybody from there, it's directory.gohighlevel.com. It's all of our great certified experts. Like I said, I think we're up to 135. We had our best week last week with 10 users passing. Going into
Nice.
this morning, we already had 5 users pass this week. So I was like, whoa, what's happening here? So I just expect that number to keep going up. And I just love seeing the growth of that community. You guys are bouncing off really great ideas, and anything that you guys throw at us, HighLevel is very receptive to what our users want. We are very, very customer centric, and that to our core value is never
Yeah.
going to change.
And I'm fascinated about this little mini community you're building of learners inside GHL,
Yeah.
where all of us are coming now together and asking questions in terms of learnings and the systems that you guys have, and that stuff is growing. And then you guys are also, I've seen that you've implemented stuff for like businesses like us, where you're helping us get to the enterprise stuff and have my goal now, because of the help that we've gotten from GHL, we're now thinking that over the next 2 years, we should be having about 100 people enrolled in the program. Just by October, by the end of the year, our goal is to have 50 people enrolled. By next year, I think we should easily be doubling that up.
Okay.
So, you can rest assured that, at least 100 people are going to be permanently a program fixture on your side,
Love
and
that.
we'll be helping growing this program as much as we can.
Yeah, and I mean that's huge testament to what you guys are doing at RepStack. So kudos to you guys. Keep doing what you're doing and keep growing your business and tending to the users out there. There's so much need out there, and you guys are just seeing those holes and grabbing at it. And I love seeing that attentiveness and that willingness to grow. Right? Because some people are just rest on where they're at, and change is scary. And you guys are just fully embracing that change and driving that charge. So great job for RepStack and doing all that.
Thank you very much, Alicia. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy. You have a
Thank you.
lot of people to certify. You have to build programs. Am I going to be seeing you in the next SaaSpreneur? Are you going to be there?
I will be there in July as well. And then, of course, I will be there at the summit in October as well.
All right. I'll see you in July.
We'll see you then.
Thank you so much, Alicia.